Today, we're at home with Tanya Roberts. It's a cozy and private hideaway, exactly what she would have designed if she'd built the house herself. And the location? Well, it's a dream come true.
Even if I had built it from scratch, I would have built something very modern. I wouldn't have wanted anything to compete with the ambiance of the area, of the canyons, and of the views.
It's a tropical paradise in the California canyons. Welcome to At Home with Tanya Roberts. I'm Joy Philbin. In Southern California, there is a home with a mood you'd expect to find close to the equator rather than close to Hollywood. Inside Tanya Roberts' home, the tropical decor is a reflection of the lush green gardens outside. Born and raised in the Bronx, Tanya moved from New York to Los Angeles for work, but it was travel for a film shoot that provided inspiration when it came time to decorate her home. Tanya got her big break when she landed the role of Julie Rogers on the television series Charlie's Angels. The show launched her to the big screen, including the lead role in the film Sheena. Since then, we've seen her as everything from Bond girl Stacey Sutton to Midge, the suburban mom on That 70s Show. Tanya's career has been varied. Her biggest and most important project now, decorating her home, a private paradise where she and her husband are surrounded by the beauty of nature every day. It was a long search to find the home of their dreams. Every Sunday, Tanya would hop in the car and drive around visiting open houses. Her afternoon rides finally paid off in 2000 when she spotted a for sale sign.
I said, I want views, but I don't want to be hanging off a cliff. I want a view house with some flat land so I can have gardens, because I love gardens, and really lush. I wanted it to be very lush. I just kept driving around like crazy because I wanted a house now, you know. And one Sunday, I was driving around here, and I saw this for sale sign, and I thought, it's got to be at the end of that long driveway with the gate. I had been looking for a promontory. That's what you call the end of a mountain. So you have the whole, like a peninsula in the middle of the canyon. And you have all the views and all the flatland and everything, and I had been looking for that. And they're not that easy to find, because how many ends of canyons are there, right? We came up to the house, I walked in, and it was exactly what I wanted.
While the home is secluded, its location is still convenient to work and the LA nightlife.
It's so incredible in the canyons. We have so much wildlife up here, deer and raccoons and hawks and just everything you can imagine, and it's so quiet. Like, we're 2 minutes from the city here, but you'd never know in a million years. And also, it's just the canyon living is a whole different way to live, and everywhere you look is beauty around you.
The 3,300 square foot home was built in 1970. Its simple, modern design appealed to Tanya and her husband, Barry.
I always wanted something that had incredible views, and I always wanted gardens and waterfalls in and out. And so when I saw this place, I said, wow, this has the total potential for what I want and the way we live and the way we entertain, with a lot of people moving in and out, and it's perfect.
At the furthest point on the property, there's a lounge area. Even in the garden, guests never feel removed from the party.
See, the things that are important to me aren't furniture. We put in a whole sound system that's all outdoors and all over the house, so we could have sounds, so it doesn't have to blast from 2 speakers.
As you pass through the gate and into the entryway, you feel like you're escaping from the hectic world and entering a calm and tropical resort. Just inside the gate is an Indonesian lantern. Tanya uses these throughout her home and garden. A favorite stop along the terracotta tile walkway is the koi pond. Koi are highly prized for their bright colors and delicate markings.
They're wonderful because they're pets. They eat right out of your hand, and they're so beautiful. And I just love having water. I love the sound of it. It's a really nice addition to a home and to a garden, I think.
Above a window, a wood carving from India adds a decorative touch to the lush green garden. The tranquil garden mood continues inside the home. Originally frosted, Tanya replaced the glass in the front doors with clear glass. She wanted to be able to let light in and see the front garden. The long central hallway is minimally decorated. Along one wall is a delicately carved console table.
The front part of the console is all hand-carved, and then they incorporate a piece around it. So some of it's probably mid-1800s, and then they incorporate a new table around it.
Above the console table is a waterfall. The frame is copper, while the water runs down a large piece of slate. The sound of flowing water adds a tranquil feel. The waterfall is flanked on either side by ceramic urns. On the opposite wall, a mirror reflects light into the area. Below it, you'll find 2 cement planters. For Tanya, no room is complete without a green touch. The tropical entryway is just a preview to the exotic decor you'll find throughout the home. Tanya spent a long time looking for the right home and the right location. She and her husband were renting while they looked. Tanya says things actually worked out well because it was at one of those rental houses that she first discovered the beauty of koi.
Oh, my koi. I got into koi because we leased a house that used to be Henry Fonda's old house, and it had koi ponds outside in front and waterfalls, and through the house the koi ponds went and waterfalls through the house and then into the backyard. And I fell in love with that place, and when I left, to the next place I moved, I bought a small little koi pond and started raising them, and the ponds kept getting bigger and bigger, and now they're way too big for that pond, and we're having it put in the ground soon.
I guess you could say Tanya's hooked on these fish. Coming up, a combined living and dining area with an open and airy feel. Still ahead, she loves her retro-looking stove too much to change it. She used it to create a great-looking kitchen. There's more to see at Home with Tanya Roberts. Stay with us. Welcome back. We're in Southern California with Tanya Roberts. When Tanya found the 3,300 square foot home, she wanted the exterior to have the atmosphere of a tropical rainforest. She also wanted the look of the exotic garden that she created outside to flow inside the home. So when it came time to decorate, Tanya chose furnishings that would blend naturally with the outside environment and still be comfortable for everyday living. At the end of the long entry hallway, you'll reach the living room. Inspired by her love of nature and an appreciation for design, the mood is comfortable and casual.
I guess when I was very little, my mother would take us on nature hikes, and I suppose what I always found the most beautiful thing of all was nature. I collect lots of books on gardens and architecture. I like very simple, plain architecture. I love Frank Lloyd Wright. I just found Thailand fascinating. The combination of the Eastern and Western influences I thought was very interesting, and I guess I was inspired by that. I have a tremendous appreciation for all kinds of design and interior design, but for what I wanted it to be just where you were just very laid back, very comfortable, and a part of nature.
Tanya chose a soft terracotta-colored carpeting for the sunken living room, so it would blend with the terracotta tile floor in the entryway and the dining room. Walls along 3 sides are predominantly windows. Tanya says the area is so private that there's no need for curtains. Plus, she doesn't want to block the view of the gardens.
I'm much more into like an indoor-outdoor house than really any particular style, although we did get all our furniture brought over from Bali, and that's all the giant bamboo furniture.
2 bamboo sofas and 2 side chairs make up the seating area. Tanya covered them all in the same fabric because she fell in love with the bold print and thought it was the perfect complement to the exposed bamboo.
It's banana leaves. The whole house is so garden-oriented that I thought I'd bring some of the garden inside. And so you feel from the moment you walk through the gates and into the courtyard and into the house that what you see is a lot of foliage and a lot of garden, and that's why I chose that fabric.
Tanya chose the glass-top coffee table because it mixes function with a light, airy effect. At either end of the center sofa, you'll find two more of Tanya's favorite lamps.
They're Indonesian. The tops of the lamps are made out of the inside of the palm trees where the hair is, where the palms and the coconuts grow. They're fabulous outdoors because, well, of course, they use them there where there's a ton of rain, and the rain doesn't drip in. And so actually outside I have these same ones in a smaller version, and I have electricity lighting them all up, and as much as it rains, it doesn't get in. So that's the purpose of it, and it also looks very cool.
The lanterns sit on pedestals that were once tops of old building columns. Tanya found them at an architectural salvage company. But her favorite architectural salvage finds are the antique carvings on either side of the doorway.
The carvings are from 19th century China, and they're unfinished, as you can see, and I love that, and I love the faces on them. And originally they were used to hold up the roofs of the temples as at the top of a column.
Tanya says she loves the look of the living room. She took her time decorating it because she wanted to find furnishings she'd enjoy for years to come.
I think everything in your house should be something you love. I want each thing to be special to me.
When it came to decorating the dining room, Tanya wanted to keep the mood similar to that of the living room.
Because the area wasn't huge and because you could see it all when you walked in, I had to keep the two rooms very harmonious. I wanted it to be eclectic, so I looked and looked for tables, and I found this place that made tables out of the redwood trees, which they only allow them to cut down so many, and there's nothing, you know, harmful to the environment or to the forests about it. And then what they do is they antique them. So they antiqued this one with, it's actually called a whitewash. And I thought it looked very modern and very Japanese and very much like, actually like art. So I liked the combination of that with the shape of the Asian shape.
Surrounding the table are rattan chairs. Their woven backs create an elegant style out of natural materials.
I want an ambiance where people feel very, very comfortable because we entertain a lot. I like to have a great entertainment flow, and I want people to feel very laid back. I don't want anything uptight. As you notice, this place is very laid back. But it's certainly not a dressy, fancy house.
Tanya chose a glass console table to blend with the main table. Its base is made from concrete, formed into triangles, then painted white. And on the wall is another fountain. This time, the water flows gently over pebbles.
The water over the rocks is so beautiful to me. It's a lovely sound of moving water. I love water, obviously, because of my ponds and everything.
Notched behind the dining room is a small counter and pantry area that comes in handy when the party's in full swing. There's also quick access to the kitchen through a window cut in the back wall. The harmonious mix of styles in the dining and living areas has created a space with casual elegance. It's clear from seeing Tanya's pond and two waterfalls that she really loves the sound of water in her home. In fact, Tanya says someday she'd love to have a little stream inside the house. What has inspired her? Well, there's one famous home in particular that's been a big influence on her design ideas. The home itself is called Falling Water.
I always wanted to live in the woods. Like my favorite house on the whole planet is Frank Lloyd Wright's waterfall house. I just love it. It's all glass and waterfalls, and you just feel like you're living in the woods.
Tanya says she now has the home she's always imagined. Up next, a cool white kitchen that heats up when company's coming. And still ahead, a 7-month landscaping project turns a backyard into a tropical paradise. Stay with us. back at home with Tanya Roberts. Welcome, I'm Joy Philbin. Tanya says she loves the casual and comfortable lifestyle of living in Southern California. And to keep the home's mood in line with the environment, she chose a color palette straight out of nature. Leaf pattern fabrics and natural materials give even the kitchen an exotic feel. Tucked behind the dining room is the kitchen. Here, too, the floor is terracotta tile. The room's L-shaped design separates the cooking area from the rest of the room. Tall rattan chairs provide seating along a side counter. Their cushions are covered in cotton decorated with soft yellow and green palms. Tile countertops and cabinets are a cool white, giving the room a clean look. And even washing dishes isn't so bad when you have a window that looks out onto the front garden. It's in the area leading to the dining room that's dedicated to cooking. 2 ovens are set into the wall. Their brown finish blends with the earth tones in the room. The stovetop has a unique look. Tanya has been considering updating the appliances, but admits she loves their retro style too much to replace them.
I loved that the stove and the ovens were like, they look like an old 50s Cadillac, and I didn't want to move them out. We did get a new refrigerator, stainless steel one, which is great, but I didn't want to make everything stainless steel because I thought those were such cool things.
A dash of retro style and a splash of sunshine is the recipe for this kitchen. When guests stay over, they have a room that has the feel of a garden and a view of one too. Simply decorated, the floral bedspread keeps with the spirit of the home. And a few favorite pillows, well, they keep with the spirit of the homeowner. It's a cozy spot to turn in for the night. Tanya says her friends enjoy her home as much as she does. In fact, she has so many visitors that she thinks it might be time to start taking reservations for her guest room. When we return, Tanya takes us on a tour of her favorite area of the house, the gardens.
Oh, and this is Lutskis. Come here. This is our little conure, and she's a little angel. She flies all over the neighborhood and comes home. She's a little cutie.
If you have questions or comments, we'd like to hear from you. Write to us at Home with Tanya Roberts, care of HGTV, Box 50970, Knoxville, Tennessee 37950. Be sure to include your daytime phone number. Welcome back to At Home with Tanya Roberts. When Tanya purchased the home, the interior was in great condition and needed almost no renovations. But the garden outside didn't have the tropical feel that Tanya wanted. So she began a 7-month landscaping project. And the result? Well, you'll see for yourself. It took months of landscaping to achieve this lush green look.
So these are the gardens that my landscaper and I designed and put in within, I guess, the last, well, we've been working on it since we've been here. And these are ferns. These, although they're not blooming, well, a lot of them are just buds, are called fuchsias. They're a gorgeous color, and they just hang like little beautiful ornaments on a Christmas tree or something. They're amazing to me. I wanted it to look like a combination of a bog area, and that's what the ferns all produce. They're called bog plants. And so I sort of wanted it to be a mix of English and Western plants with some Oriental and jasmine and the plants you'd see in rainforest type areas. So you get that canopy look where it filters through this and this and this. So you can have wonderful, beautiful flowering plants, and yet you can, even though it's so sunny up here, because I have to filter light coming through all the layers of foliage. So that was basically the idea. Well, this side of our house, we had a lot of work to do because it was totally bare. We had to transplant and change a lot of plants that were there, but this was like nothing was here. And so we decided we wanted to soften the walls, so we put this bamboo, which doesn't run wild. It's actually in clumps, the root system, so it won't take over the whole garden, because that can be really vicious, this stuff. Anyway, it'll be coming up the walls here, and then we'll have it cut to, you know, whatever angle we want at the top. But we just wanted it to, you know, obviously to be green. And there's another fuchsia plant. Here's a palm, a king palm, and these are called oleanders. And the reason we have these here and the reason they're so tall is because this is the east. It is so hot and so bright that this is a great shield from that kind of heat. And then with the air conditioning thing, well, obviously it was a big white eyesore, so we decided to put bamboo all around it and all in the back of it, which will cut. And you know how lovely bamboo is when it gets thick and you can just cut it flat. And then this old bamboo we just put there to cover it for the meanwhile till the plants grow over it.
It's a great design idea and very stylish camouflage. Whether strolling in the garden or relaxing indoors, the calming mood of the home is exactly what Tanya hoped to achieve.
I mean, I have a lot of hobbies. I play golf, I work, but I love my home. To me, my home has to be heaven. And to me, this is my little Shangri-La. Every time I walk around this house, I am so happy. I love it. I really feel that your home has to be a total refuge and someplace that you really want to be. This home is like a vacation to me. I can sit out in the back and you can't hear anything but nature and birds, and to me it's like being in Hawaii or something. And that's what's very important to me, that my home is truly where I want to be, more than any place else.
Tanya says it's great having a home where she feels like she's on vacation, especially when her schedule gets hectic. And even when she does have a little time off, well, Tanya doesn't stray too far. She says another great benefit to living in the canyon area is that there are many beautiful hiking trails. We hope you've enjoyed being at home with Tanya Roberts. I'm Joy Philbin. Thanks for joining us. Columns.